Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're checking out the Driftwood Darkest Nightmare tube amp, made in Germany. What's it sound like?
If this is what a Darkest Nightmare sounds like, I don't ever want to wake up.
Not bad, not bad. Practice, you might get it right at some point. Anyway, hey, welcome to yet another episode from Trey's Sweaty Garage in wonderful, smoky Glendale, California. The whole town smells like a bonfire. It's something I've never experienced before.
It's like a barbecue, but without any of the good parts.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, it's a boy.
And we're the meat.
So today we are checking out the Driftwood Darkest Nightmare. Now, I first heard about Driftwood at NAMM because they're really good friends with my buddies over at Coffee Custom Cabs. And basically what happened was they're like, hey, we don't want to haul this thing back to Germany. Can you hang on to it for us? And I'm like, well, yeah, okay, sure. Why the hell not? Let's
if you insist.
Yeah, oh wow, fucking premium German-made tube amp. Oh, twist my arm. So they dropped it off and then, COVID hit and I had to run home. So I'm down here for the summer for a few weeks anyway, and thought we'd do a video before we wrap it up. Now, there's a couple of unique things about this amp. First and foremost, it really doesn't seem to have kind of a channel switch like a lot of other amps do. There's like some toggles to change, but it kind of goes gainy, then more gainy, and then more gainy. I'm like, we've got Trey's insane. What the hell is this thing?
Skirva 10 is the model because they initially made it a 10-string one, and then it was so cool that you can get it in fewer than 10 strings. So this one has 8.
Okay, cool. It's kind of putting my GOC to shame.
Yeah, but it's also like 10 times the price.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. This guitar is about $800. That's about, what, $5 grand or something like that?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, that's a beautiful finish though. But can we hear it through the amp? Like we just dialed this in and this is what we're getting. It's definitely got that, it's got a tightness switch on it that I think is really cool. Let me show you guys what this is all about. So I'm gonna throw the tight switch out, let's play it, and then I'm gonna throw it in. And right there, I hit the sizzle switch, and that's making a huge difference in the top end. Thing is, I noticed you kick that in, you really got to dial the sharp knob back, which I'm guessing is their version of presence. Now, the big thing about this is it's got a built-in overdrive. It's called the TS. You can see it right here. It's lit up. The only thing I don't like is the switch for it is in the back. This is all designed to be controlled by a MIDI foot controller, and so it's kind of a pain in the ass because we don't have that foot control here. So yet again, reaching around the amp.
On today's edition of Glenn Does Reach Arounds for German Amps.
Now this guitar has what you'd call not very high output pickups. So with the TS off, play a couple chords. Let's see what we're getting here.
Not very high gain.
Not very high gain. Whereas if we switch over to this guitar, which has some EMGs in it, should get a little bit more saturated tone. It's a little bit tubby on that end. I definitely like it with the booster engaged. That's really cool. I like the tone we're getting off this. Again, it seems to be voiced a little bit differently than a typical 6L6 tube amp. Not sure exactly what tubes are in. I'm sure we're gonna get it on the cutaway. The Darkest Nightmare is a 100-watt amp that comes loaded with a pair of 6L6 and KT88 tubes for a unique combination. There's also some rather unique features, including a built-in tube screamer type boost and an impulse response loader. There's also a sizzle switch and a tight switch on the front panel, and that really cleaned things up quite a bit. I found that the switching does tend to be a bit of a chore without the foot switch, so I would highly recommend getting that alongside the amp. Now, one of the more unique things about this amp is it has an IR loader built in on the back end, but because I'm using this as a studio amp right now, we're not going to be showing out the various IRs because honestly, that's only going to work for you in this case in terms of a live performance because it does not have a load box, which is what we're using right now. We're going to a load box and then using Trey's custom IR blend for his kind of tone. But if you go to a gig and you don't want to worry about miking up a cabinet, this is exactly where the custom IR loader will come in handy. I think they've got some of Lasse Lammert's IRs loaded up on that as well. So it's like, Lasse's a good buddy. I'm sure they're really great, but yeah, you definitely want to get the Lancasters instead. And as always, the measure of any amp is how well it works in a mix. So joining us on today's video are Eric Arko and Jackson Ward. Let's hit it. So that is the Driftwood Darkest Nightmare. You can follow links in the description below and get way more information than you ever could out of my video. Anyway, I gotta say, it's been sitting in the rack there for most of the year. It's nice to finally break it out and try it out. I like it because it's got a different voicing from a lot of different amps. It's kind of got its own thing going on. Definitely cool for live performance as well. I love how it works in the mix because it's got a certain fatness to it that I'm not hearing elsewhere.
I really enjoy the tight switch because, you know, I use a lot of low tunings.
Sure.
And especially, like, you know, we got the 8-string here, we tried it out, and it really makes a big difference, especially in a mix.
With a guitar like this, you've got to just pile the gain on because the pickups are so low output. And once you start turning that gain up, you kind of muddy things up. So that tightness switch just kind of, you know, brings everything together. That's something I've not seen on other amps. So for all you gent kids, you might want to take a look at something like this because it might be exactly what you're looking for. All right, Trey, thanks so much for being on the show.
Hell yeah.
All right, as always, you guys can find links in the description for everything. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And until next time, get out there and make some metal, you amazing, nice people.